Good afternoon, dear everyone. How are you? It's such a wonderful opportunity that we come back to the online teaching session. So happy to see all of you. Very familiar faces to me. Before Sister Bội Nghiêm start to give the Dharma talk, shall we practice some songs? We will sing some songs then to build up the energy.
But before we sing some songs, we would love to hear your voice. Your voices. So could you unmute yourself and just say something? Your favorite sentence right now. You want everybody to hear.
Happy Thursday.
Yes, happy Thursday.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm so glad to be here.
Hi, friends.
It's so wonderful to hear all the voice of everyone. Build up the energy, build up happiness. Is there any request for the senior session? Any song that you want to sing?
You may type in the chat box or you can just say it out loud.
It's hard to read past the first screen.
Oh, thank you.
How about I Like the Roses?
Okay. So we have number 8. And When I Rise and I Like the Roses. Mother Earth looks good. All right, we'll do that one too. Okay, Sister Daniel.
Okay, we start with I Like the Roses. You ready? We sing together. We start together. 2, 3.
I like the roses. I like the daffodils. I like the mountains. I like the rolling hills. I like the twinkling stars when the sun goes down. Dooby 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 dooby. I like the roses. I like the daffodils. I like the mountains. I like the rolling hills. I like the twinkling stars when the sun goes down. Dooby 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 doo. And when I rise?
And when I rise.
All right. And number 8. Where is And When I Rise? There we go. So you sing first and maybe we sing together.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And when I rise, let me rise like a bird joyfully. And when I fall, let me fall like a leaf gracefully without regrets. And when I sit, let me sit
mountain solidly. And when I lay, let me lay like a lake, calm and still, reflecting all. And when I work, let me work like a bee, lazily. And when I play, let me play like the rays of the sun, rejoicingly. There was a request for us to sing number 6, and then we can sing Mother Earth. You know this song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. There is
True love right here. There is true love right here. And I am so blessed that I have found it. There is true love right here. There is true peace right here. There is true peace right here. And we am so blessed that I have found it. There is true peace right here. There is true truth right here. There is true truth right here. And I am so blessed that I have found it. There is true truth right here. There is true home right here. There is true home right here. And I am so blessed that I have found it. There is true home right here. And Mother Earth. With this song, we invite you to please snap your finger and think of Mother Earth. Mother Earth, I am in love with Mother Earth. Mother Earth, you are the most beautiful planet. Mother Earth, Bodhisattva of refreshing. Yeah. Oh yeah, Mother Earth. Let us live in a way where Mother Earth is healthy, so we can be healthy. You know the song, Sister Dinga?
I just heard it.
Oh, that was not the lyrics. Now here's the song. Mother Earth is a great big ship that we are sailing on, sailing on, sailing on through space and time, space and time. Touch the earth, feel your worth, awake into this new rebirth. Know your heart and open up the divine, up the divine, up the divine. Shall we do it again? Okay. Jody, I like how you move from the left to the right. Yes, everybody, please move your body as if you're rocking. You're sitting on a rocking chair. Yeah. And Mother Earth is your rocking chair. Or Mother, you're sitting on a boat. Mother Earth is a great big ship that we are sailing on, sailing on, sailing on through space and time, space and time. Touch the earth, feel your worth, awake into this new rebirth. Know your heart and open up the divine, up the divine, up the divine. Thank you, friend who made the request to sing this song. And we shall end with number 16.
Oh,
Standing like a tree. Yeah, shall we stand up?
yeah.
If you feel like standing up, please feel free.
How I'm gonna.
It's wonderful that we sang the song about Mother Earth, and now we're singing a song about standing like a tree. Yes. Standing like a tree with my roots dug down, my branches wide and open. Come down the rain, come down the sun, come down the fruit to a heart that is open to be standing like a tree with my roots dug down, my branches wide and open. Come down the rain, come down the sun, come down the fruit to a heart that is open to be standing like a tree. Thank you, dear friends, for singing with us. That was a good exercise, wasn't it? And so now I'd like to invite Sister Dingyam to lead us into a session of guided meditation today.
Dear sister, dear friends, now I would like to invite everyone to come back to our breathing. Keep your back straight but relaxed. Maintain a half smile on your face. Can you hear?
Are you able to hear Sister Dingyam okay, dear friends? Wonderful.
Smile can help all the cells on your face to relax and rest. You can close your eyes or keep it half open. And either way that you can feel at ease and easy to follow your breathing. You sit on the chair and you can put your hands on your laps. Relax your shoulders. Rest your mind by paying attention to your breathing. There's nothing to do, nothing to worry, nothing to think about, nowhere to go. Just come back to the present moment. Enjoy the present moment. Feel the present moment. And we are here together to cultivate peace, happiness together. I will start the session with 3 sounds of the bell. The sound of the bell is the voice of the Buddha or a very dearest person that call you back to the present moments. Listen, listen. This wonderful sound of the bell brings me back to the present moments. Breathing in, I follow my in-breath from the beginning to the end. Breathing out, I follow my out-breath from the beginning to the end. Following my in-breath, following my out-breath. Breathing in, I feel my body. Breathing out, I relax my body. Get in touch with the body, relaxing body. In touch with the air, I breathe in. Smiling with the air, I breathe out. Touching air, smiling. In touch with the cool water, I breathe in. Smiling to the cool water, I breathe out. Cool water, smiling. In touch with the clear stream, I breathe in. Smiling to the clear stream, I breathe out. Clear stream, smiling. In touch with the vast ocean, I breathe in. Smiling to the vast ocean, I breathe out. Vast ocean, smiling. In touch with the clouds in the blue sky, I breathe in. Smiling to the clouds in the blue sky, I breathe out. Blue skies, clouds in the blue sky, smiling. In touch with the trees, I breathe in. Smiling to the trees, I breathe out. Trees, smiling. In touch with the singing birds, I breathe in. Smiling to the singing birds, I breathe out. Singing birds, smiling. In touch with the spring, I breathe in. Smiling to the spring, I breathe out. Spring, smiling. Breathing in. I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out. I know that I'm breathing out. In, out. Dear friends, the sitting meditation is ending now, and you can open your eyes and can rub your hands and then can massage your head, your face, your neck, your shoulders, how is it? How do you feel? You feel good? You feel happy? Myself, I feel very at ease. Now I would like to invite Sister Bùi Nghiêm to start the session.
Dear beloved teacher, dear Sister Dinh Nghiêm, and dear noble community, my name is Sister Bùi Nghiêm, Sister True Pearl in English. Pronouns are she and her. And this is
I'm Sister Dinh Nghiêm. I'm pronounced as she and her.
an English translation of Sister Dinh Nghiêm is Sister True Commitment. May I ask, who is here for the first time? Could you raise your hand? Okay. Your name looks so familiar. Thank you for joining us here for the first time. And for our friends who are keep returning, and returning. We are always happy to see your return. See, I'm trying to do this real quick. Okay. Over the last few sessions that Sister Din Nghiêm and I led, or Sister Vũ Nghiêm and I led, we spoke on the topic of the four nutriments. Oftentimes when we think of food, we only think of edible food, right? The food that we ingest through our mouth. But the Buddha, an enlightened one, knew that there are other types of food that we consume on a daily basis that oftentimes we don't think they are food, but they are food. And this teaching was 2,600 years ago. The second nutriment is the food of sense impressions, the food that we consume through our eyes, our ears, our nose, our tongue, our body, and our mind. And we know that we are so connected now, connected online, right? It's like distance cannot keep us apart. I remember when I first came to the United States in 1995, we would have to save a lot of money just to call and speak to our relatives in Vietnam. Each minute cost like $1 or even more. And back then, my parents only made like $3 per hour. So imagine making $3 an hour, having a phone call to Vietnam is $1 a minute. And whenever we call, the connection was not that great. The only question that we asked repeatedly was, "Sao, khỏe không? So, how are you doing?" And over there, it's like, "Sao, có khỏe không? So, how are you doing over there?" It's like, "How are you doing over there? And how are you doing over there?" Just the question, "How are you doing over there?" could take up to 5 minutes. So that's $5. Many of you don't have to experience this, but my family did. And we purchased like calling cards. And now it doesn't cost a penny to call to Vietnam, except we have to pay internet service. And we don't have to ask, "How are you doing over there?" so many times, like in 1995, when we have good connection. Good internet connection. I want to say that clearly. Good internet connection. So, with the means, the technology means today we have, it's so easy to communicate. And yet what happened? It's so difficult to communicate. It's so difficult to communicate, even though we have all these means. So the question that I want to ask all of us today, that perhaps you can type in the chat box, is, what responses or signs your body and mind show, which inform you that this is enough media consumption for now, or this is enough food of sense impressions for now? What signs, what responses your body and your mind show, which inform you this is enough food of sense impressions for now? If you could type in the chat box and we will read it out. Sister Din Nghiêm, could you help me to read this, please? How to read it? Boredom.
Boredom. Eyes feel tired. When my eyes get tired, or my stomach no longer feels hunger. Yes, eyes tired and stinging. I have a quick sensation of anxiety in my stomach, irritation, a sense of drowsiness. When I realize I don't remember anything about what I just read. Overstimulation, overfullness, X. I don't like sitting for too long. Eye strain, wrist pain, tired or stinging eyes. When I feel the fuzziness of lack of focus or tenseness, neck or back stiffness from bad posture while reading.
Yes. It seems like you contemplate your body in the body very well. The first establishment of mindfulness. You are aware of your body when you consume media or food of sense impression. Quite a number of you mentioned eyes feel tired. Yes, this is the sign. I don't know how long you sat in front of the computer or television that made your eyes feel tired, but in my case, I started to feel tired after 2 hours. But for some of you, it might be only 30 minutes. Or for a teenager, it might be 5 hours. Right? Yeah. I think we should consider ourselves lucky if our eyes feel tired after 30 minutes or an hour. Then we know that it's time to get up and do something that is more nourishing. Thank you so much, dear friends, for writing. And thank you, Sister Ding Lim, for reading. I'd like us to take a moment to read the analogy that the Buddha gave when he spoke about the second nutriment, for us to have a better understanding the seriousness of food of sense impression. If you could give me a minute, let me share a screen with you. Okay. So this is the whole sutra that you can read afterward or whenever you can from Plum Village website. Right? And here is the link. I'm sending you the link in the chat box. Please don't read it now because we don't want you to multitask. Okay. We learn to do one thing at a time. So the second analogy that the Buddha gave is this. How should the practitioner meditate on the food of sense impressions? Imagine a cow which has lost its skin. Wherever it goes, the insects and maggots which live in the earth, in the dust, or on the vegetation attach themselves to the cow and suck its blood. If the cows lie on the earth, the maggots in the earth will attach themselves to it and feed off of it. If she goes down into the river, the insects in the water will attach themselves to it and feed off to it. If she stands in the open space, the insects in the air will attach themselves to it and feed off of it. Whether lying down or standing up, the cow will be irritated and suffer pain. When you ingest the food of sense impressions, you should practice to see it in this light. You will have insight and understanding, which puts an end to misperceptions concerning the fruit of sense impressions. When you have this insight, you will no longer be attached to the three kinds of feelings. When no longer attached to the three kinds of feeling, the noble disciple does not need to strive anymore, because whatever needs to be done has already been done. So he used an image of a cow which lost its skin. Wherever the cow goes, maggots, insects, would be with the cow, would attach themselves to the cow. And when you ingest the food of sense impressions, you should practice to see it in this light. Once the cow has lost its skin, things can enter into its body, like maggots, insects. So I think the cow here is like six senses. Once our six senses are so widely open, and if we're not careful, whatever we consume, they for sure enter, like the maggots, the insects enter the cow when the cow's skin is lost. But I think we're more lucky than the cow, because we have bodyguard, and that guard is our mindfulness. In this case, the cow here doesn't have mindfulness, doesn't have a guard. I think it has its tail to wiggle back and forth, but it might be too painful. I think it is painful enough for the insects and the maggots, right, to enter into the cow's body. Or maybe the cow is no longer alive. But in our case, as long as we are alive, we will continue to consume food of sense impressions. And as long as we are diligent in the practice of mindfulness, then the guard of our six senses will be stronger. Then that will help us to be more mindful of what to consume and what not to consume. And we can become aware of our body, of our feelings, of our mental formations. When we watch something, read something, think about something, listen to something. Now when we talk about edible food, we have some of us here are vegetarian, vegan, and some of us occasionally eat fish, seafood, and perhaps some of us here still eat meat, but on the aspiration to become a vegetarian or diet. Well, that's edible food. And let's look at the food of sense impression. Are we on a vegetarian diet when it comes to food of sense impression? Or are we like meat eater when it comes to food of sense impression? We know that if we consume a lot of meat, it affects many organs in our body, like our hearts, our stomach, our kidneys. If we consume a lot of processed food, preservatives, then that is not only detrimental to our body, but also to our mind. Now imagine if someone who watches violent scenes just to satisfy their hunger, or filled with sexual desire just to satisfy their hunger or their desire. Imagine if they consume this so many days. What would that do to their body and to their mind? For some people, they think that watching pornography, that's how they learn about sex. But that's not the way to learn about sex. And this is a topic that I rarely spoke upon. But I think one day we can talk about this more in details. A lot of teenagers out there, when I have a chance to be with them, they're very honest. Yeah, you know, as teenager, they like to discover. And many parents think that, oh, my teenagers are not like that. It must be somebody else's teenagers. But no, all parents, you'll be surprised. Researchers have found that children up to ages of 12, they have watched a lot of pornography already. So as parents, I think it's important to have candid conversation about this to your children so that your children can distinguish between sex and love. But they know that when it comes to love, there must be respect, responsibility, and most importantly, consent. Consent. I think some of us sitting here have experienced trauma in our life, and perhaps the perpetrator, they once consumed a lot of unhealthy media, or they themselves were once victim. There are many causes and conditions. In English, we have the saying, you are what you eat. And this does not only apply to edible food, it also applies to food of sense impression. We are what we eat. You know, whenever I visit my family and I see my favorite rascals, I often call them my favorite rascals, sit in front of the iPad for a long time, I could see that their lips are so dry, their eyes are so tired, and they're half sitting and half lying down. You know that posture? They are not aware of their body at all. They are not aware that they are thirsty because they are children or they are teenagers. They're so consumed in what they are consuming. They let what they see on their television or iPad consume them. And sometimes we know better than them. This is why if we create ourselves of a positive habit, let's say that we all here love Thầy, right? Well, there are monastics that we respect, we care, or spiritual teachers that we take refuge in. We can invite them into our living room when we consume food of sense impression. We ask ourselves, if Thầy is sitting next to me right now, would I be watching this? You all are smiling. I do this because at that time my mindfulness might be weak. So I invite Thầy to be next to me. Imagine if Thầy is sitting next to me right now and I'm scrolling on social media pages. Would I be sitting here for hours and just look at the videos and the pictures and then the stories? And then as I look on my watch, oh my goodness, 2 hours have passed. Yeah. Even if we're consuming Dharma online, when do we know it is enough? If we watch a lot of teachings or a lot of Dharma and we forget about the dirty dishes at the sink, or we forget that, oh, our loved one is cleaning the house alone, and we're just sitting there and watching Dharma talk. I don't see this happen at the monastery. Well, I don't know if it happens at home. Before we would get angry about loved ones watching movies or just football while we're washing dishes or cooking. Well, I think our loved ones will be very irritated too if they see we're watching Dharma Talk and they have to do all these house chores or cutting the grass outside, right? When we watch something, we ask ourselves, what are we watching? Why are we watching it? And when I say watch it, because I don't want to repeat the six sense organs, so I'm just using the word watch as for eyes, but then it's for all the six sense organs. It's for all the sense impressions. Right? When we watch something, we sit down. We invite Thay to sit next to us. Breathe in and breathe out 3 minutes before we turn on the remote and say, Sister Bội Nghiêm, why are you watching this? How are you watching it? And what are you watching? And what can you resist? Or we can just ask one question at a time. Why am I watching this? Is it to cover up my loneliness? Just to relax myself? To entertain? Okay, so remember that question, and after you watch it, you can answer it. Do I feel more relaxed? Do I have more compassion? I remember when I was in Vietnam just last month, I received the news that Tyree Nichols was beaten by the Scorpion Police Department of Memphis, in Memphis, where I consider my second home. I lived there for 9 years before I became monastic. So Memphis is very close to my heart. And I would have never imagined that a tragedy like that would happen in Memphis and so close to the monastery. So at first I read the news. I want to make sure I have enough information. I listened to the Memphis police chief gave a speech before the video was made known to the public. So I listened to that. I listened to her advice. I listened to her words of insight. And then I waited until I feel that there is enough peace in my mind and in my body to watch the footage of the released footage of Tyree Nichols' beating. And it was not easy to watch. It was very painful to watch. It was very scary to watch. It was very heart-wrenching to watch. I think it's rated R. And it's not often that I watch rated R movie. But this time I want to watch it because it's not a movie. It's a real life event. I ask myself, why do I watch it? I watch it because I want to understand the pain of Tyree Nichols' mom, because I listened to her interview. I watch it because I want to know the truth. I watch it so I can understand more of the suffering that Black men in America endure on a daily basis. I watch it because I want to become aware of the suffering. So if there's anything I can do to help on my small part, I will do. I watch it because in my country, my America, my country, so many people are suffering because of this tragedy. I want to be part of that suffering. I want to be one with the suffering. Do I hold any hatred in my heart toward the police people who beat Tari? No hatred. Because I know that with hatred, we cannot do anything. But I am very grateful to the people who were on the street and protest peacefully. And then those who caused so much suffering to Tyre Nichols, play a role in his death, were held accountable. And I hope that, they also receive the care that they need, because they need help. So when we watch something, let us look deeply why we watch it. Let us listen to one sound of the bell. And I think sitting here, all of us are adults. There are so many things happening in life that we are so concerned. It is because we're very compassionate people. We don't want to be indifferent with what is happening. We love ourselves. We care about our own health as well as the health of others. And yet sometimes we forget about our own health. We experience enough trauma in our life. And so whenever we have free time, we like to watch something or read something that we think just to relax and just to entertain. But then, if we're not careful, we're bringing more trauma into our body. Or thoughts. When we talk about food of sense impressions, we don't just talk about what we hear, what we see, what we touch, what we smell, but it's also what we think. Our thinking is a very powerful food. You know how these days they make like can of superfood? Yeah, our thinking is also like superfood. And we practice meditation and mindfulness to turn this mind, this body, this mind, this thinking into a healthy superfood. As I get more older in age and practice longer, I started to see the importance of self-compassion and self-love. It is so crucial, my friends, to love ourselves, to consider this body as a gift, to see this body as a gift, as a miracle. That it's not easy to be born as a human. And it's not easy at all to be born as a human and to encounter the Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha, or the teachings of Jesus Christ, or the teachings of Muhammad, or the teaching of any spiritual teacher. It is not easy. The Buddha used an example of a blind turtle on a river, trying to find a log on a river to stay alive. Can you imagine how difficult that is? A blind turtle looking for a log on a river to take refuge, to stay alive. The Buddha said that being born as a human, encountering the teachings, is even more difficult than that. So now we all have a body. We might have pains and aches in our body, in our mind somewhere, but we're here. Perhaps there were moments in our life when we no longer wanted to be alive, but now we are sitting here. So be grateful to yourself that you have chosen to live, to continue instead of to end, to build instead of to break. And this is because part of it, we should give ourselves credit because of what we consume, food of sense impression. Please don't just give credit to the external condition, also give credit to yourself. Many conditions come together for something to manifest. We are not the only condition. We happen to be the last condition, which is also important. Imagine if we are driving on a highway. The blue sky is there, flock of birds are flying, both sides are green trees. In front, behind, beside are safe drivers. We have all of these favorable conditions for us to enjoy this food of sense impressions right there and right now, right? And we are the last condition to make it possible for us to be present and enjoy it or not. We are the last condition. We are not the only condition, but we are the last condition. And that last condition plays a crucial role in our peace and our happiness in our daily life. I just want to share with you a funny story. When I was 16 years old, I had my first love. And when I turned 17, I experienced my first heartbreak. Anyone here experienced heartbreak? Okay, right? Yay, all of us, yay! Something to celebrate. Because I'm sure that heartbreak taught us many lessons. So I was 17. And I remember there was a CD that my former boyfriend gave me when I turned 16, a CD by Brian McKnight. And there was a song in that CD, 6812. Anyone here know that song, 6812? By Brian McKnight. Okay, you can Google that and look at the lyrics. It's a heartbreak song. It's a perfect breakup song. It's been 6 months, 8 days, 12 hours since you went away. I miss you so much and I don't know what to say. So when I was in love, I thought of this song and I say, oh, how sad. But then when I experienced a heartbreak, oh, that song made me feel so good. And you know what I did? I waited until 6 months, 8 days, 12 hours of my breakup. And I sat and I listened to that song exactly after 6 months, 8 days, 12 hours of my breakup. And it felt so good. I did not know that I was watering more sadness into my body and into my mind. I did not know that listening to songs is also food. So I listened to it so many times. That's why after 23 years, yes, I still remember. And can't get it out of my head. But from time to time, when it comes up, I change. I change the song. I change to happiness is here and now. Yes, who can prevent me from changing the song, right? If, oh, it's been 6 months, and I say, happiness is here and now. I'm not gonna sit there or stand there or walk there and just beat myself up and say, Sister Boeing here, you have been a nun for this long and now you still remember this song and sing. No. I would just change it to a Plumber's song. Before I would sing the whole song. Now I would just sing like 2 words because I have a replacement. So yes, find creative ways to remind yourself what to resist and when to stop. Our mind is very prone, very attracted to negativity. So attracted to negativity. That's why we love dramas. We love gossiping. But we need to know when it's too much for us. There are so many valuable resources, books, stories, movies, conversations, thoughts that we can engage in to help us to have a healthy body and a healthy mind. I hope we are all at the age where we know what nourishes us and what doesn't nourish us, that we're at the level of practice that we can decide time is very precious. We don't kill time. We don't kill anything. We don't kill a negative thought. We don't kill time. We don't kill an ant. Time is so precious that we don't want to kill. That's why we can choose wisely what to do with our time. Time goes by very quickly when we are in front of a computer. I know this very well. And I think this is why so many young people are in front of the computer, because time goes by so quickly. But there are other things that we can do that time also goes by very quickly. If we create ourselves a daily schedule, and it can be just an hour activity, an hour of walking, an hour of journaling, an hour of gardening, if we have time, or 10 minutes. Create ourselves a schedule like a schedule we have at the monastery, and stick with it. Stick with this like 50% in the beginning and then increase over time. I would like to ask Sister Dinium a question. When you receive the news that one of your family members passed away suddenly, how do you practice with food of sense impression, so that you can maintain that peace, that understanding, and that compassion for the person that just recently passed, and also for you, and especially your thinking after receiving the news. So I will end my sharing here, and Sister Dinium will share, and after that we can open the circle for all of us to share on this topic. Thank you so much for listening.
Dear sister, dear friends, I just want to continue listening. Really enjoy the talk. It helps me a lot to reflect my practice in my daily life. What I am doing right now to protect my senses. Do I waste my time or not? And I see that it's lucky, how lucky I am that I am in the monastery. A very wonderful environment to cultivate healthy food for my senses. I remember when I received the news of one of my dearest relatives passed away. I suffer a lot. Yeah, I felt lost. I feel lonely. And it was so easy to be carried away by that feeling, that emotion. Especially when I was fed by the sadness of other members in my family as well. seems that the sadness overwhelming myself and others. And then I remember one day when I was so overwhelmed by the sadness, by the suffering, suddenly I opened the door of my room and get out. And suddenly I saw the sun, the fresh air out there, outside my room. And it was so, I don't know, it seems that it was the first time I could see the sun. I could feel the air and the wonderful feeling embraced me. Then I feel that the suffering is still there. Suffering is still there, sadness is still there. But also another things also still there for me. That just only one relative passed away, but still a lot of members in my family still there for me. I'm still alive. Other beloved ones of mine still alive. Then it was a way to continue to live, to continue to love and care for myself and other siblings, other members in my family. The nature is still there for me, the Mother Earth is still there for me, and a lot of conditions for me to be happy still there. And later on, I found out that the person who passed away, still alive in me. I'm not lost. Then I continue to do what that person really wants to do. I continue to water the positive seeds, positive habit energy of that person. What she wants to do, what she dreams for her life, I will continue to make it happen. Then I don't waste my time to be carried away by the lost feeling, the feeling of lost, but I cultivate the energy to make a vow to continue to live a life with meaningful. And I see that when I'm happy, that person also happy. When I smile, that person also smile. I'm not the continuation of my ancestors, but also the continuation of my relatives, my siblings. And I talk to myself that whenever I feel lonely, I feel lost, whenever I want to close myself, to lock myself in my room, I will remember to open the door. When I touch the lock of the door, I see that I drop all the sufferings, all the sadness. And when I open the door, I see that peace, joy, happiness is there for me. And whenever I have a feeling that I'm carried away by sadness or positive thinking, I just stop. I just stop that door to open the door of watering good seeds in me, watering good thinking, watering peace, joy, happiness in me and for others. Whenever I see that I have a positive thinking about other people, I stop it and ask myself, are you sure? That by asking that question frequently, usually, I can change my thinking toward others. I can find a way out to see the good things, the good seeds in other people. And I feel that, I see that it's so wonderful to have siblings, to have relatives, to have friends still there for me. They are wonderful gifts for my life. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Sister Dingam, for sharing so profoundly. We are sorry for the loss of your family member. And thank you for bringing them into this circle. One of the ways to keep our loved ones alive after their passing is continue to talk about them, like Sister Dingam just did. And share their beautiful qualities, the memories that we have. Thank you, Sister Dingam. For our friends who join us on YouTube, thank you for joining.